Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. And it's the first NXT post Johnny Gargano. And if you couldn't tell by my little chuckle there, it's absolutely delicious. We got some solid matches. I mean, Tyler Bate versus Velveteen Dream. And we also got addressed by our NXT champion, El Idolo Andrade Cien Almas. And yeah, I loved it from top to bottom. I thought this was a very fun episode of NXT. They already planted the seeds for next week because the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is getting started next week. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff to look forward to, and there's a lot of stuff to appreciate here in this present moment. But I'm going to hand it over to my cohort and commentary. What did you think about NXT tonight?
You know, I definitely didn't seem to get into it as much as I have over the last few weeks, and it seems like not as much as you did tonight. But it was definitely not a bad episode. You know, there were some segments that I was like, okay, let's move on. This isn't necessary and that kind of stuff. And I felt like two of the matches felt really just filler to me. And I'm sure we'll talk about them when we get to it. It's weird because we're only like 4 weeks away from TakeOver New Orleans, and it kind of feels a little bit directionless until we got to the main event segment. That was like big. I just hope that the Dusty Classic happening this close to TakeOver New Orleans doesn't cause the weekly show to get muddled and feel like, you know, we're trying to focus on too much at once instead of really just, you know, honing in on TakeOver New Orleans, which I would prefer.
Well, you know, those concerns, we can segue right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. And do you have any heats tonight, or even, it seems more appropriately, nitpicks? Because it doesn't seem like anything is offended you on the show, but it does seem like you have some concerns. Are there any nitpicks that you have that kind of tie into that, or do you just want to have more broad discussions about the show as a whole?
Well, I think that would be just kind of a general nitpick, is a lack of focus. It feels like they kind of wanted to, you know, just kind of skim the water with their feet as far as the Dusty Classic goes, but there wasn't really enough TakeOver New Orleans focus on this show for me. And that's really what my problem was, is this almost felt like the kind of show that I would expect 2 weeks after a takeover, but we're like a month removed from the last takeover now. And we got that was my phone, sorry about that. That we got the match in the middle of the card felt just completely worthless, like no real use to it. It didn't build to anything. It wasn't a part of a greater story or anything. Nothing really going on there. And then the women's match that we got tonight was solid, but felt too short to me. And it felt like they kind of did the one female in it dirty in a sense. And I get why, because they were trying to build one of the other person up. And it just kind of felt like the cost to the other person was too great to be worth it. And like even the first match was good, but it did feel like it was more leaning into a story that they might be telling with one of the competitors in it. I don't know, man. It just felt like this was a skippable episode of NXT to me. Like, I don't think anything happened on this episode of NXT. As long as you pay attention to the last like 10 minutes of the show with Andrade and the stuff that happened after that, just because that might potentially have TakeOver New Orleans implications, that's really all you need out of this show. And the rest of it was skippable to me.
That's fair enough. I have no nitpicks or eats of the night myself, so let us get right into our NXT review. And partner, how do we open this baby up?
John, I don't know why you even bothered asking me, because I feel like you're the one that's going to revel in this, because we opened up with a recap of Almas and Gargano from last week.
Oh my God, this was so good. Honestly, dude, it's scaring me how much I'm loving Ciampa's off-screen work, like on Twitter and stuff. In fact, these guys can vouch for me, because I know there are some people in chat right now that saw my tweet, because Ciampa put out a tweet where like WWE officials, they came to him because they wanted permission to like license his shirt that he's been wearing, the Blackheart shirt.
Yeah, like, I saw that tweet, and he said no, because the fans shouldn't be allowed to wear it.
Yeah, dude, he might be one of the first guys because I don't know when we're due for. I know it's like a quarterly series, but you know me, like I don't always do the mental math. But our 5v5 series, depending on how much longer, like he's not going to be competing in a ring, he might be the first guy to be on my 5v5 and really not be that much of like a character because,
dude, I mean, that's the thing though, is that I still think that we're going to get a match between him and Gargano, like an unsanctioned street fight kind of thing on TakeOver New Orleans. And our next 5v5s is after that. So he might actually make that splash.
Here's the thing. Because of something that was said tonight that I'm going to touch on later during the appropriate segment, I agree with you. I'm really starting to believe that's going to happen as well. And yet, dude, I'm just going to get it out of the way early so you guys don't have to deal with it. And I am going to kind of jump the gun here. I'm laughing so hard at Johnny Gargano's joblessness. Like, it is the funniest fucking shit to me that he is without job security. And I love it. I love the failure. I love how distraught he is. I love how sad he is. And I love that his wife just has to look in his face and know deep down in her heart that he's a failure. Like, it makes me so fucking complete. And I just want to let Tommaso Ciampa know, I know all those other ingrates forgot about you, but you'll always have a home in the Scum Squad because, my God, I mean, there is nothing better than stabbing your best friend in the back. And I am so proud of Tommaso Ciampa for doing the right thing. So I just wanted to get that out of the way early.
And before you move on, I do want to say we got 2 super chats already. We got a $5 super chat from Storyteller West saying, question for John, who would you rather date, Shayna or Kyrie? And before you answer that, we got a $2 super chat from Cliff Amal saying, Ciampa is my idol in life. I love this man.
Oh my God, Cliff. See, this is why I felt like we could have worked as father and son because I'm right there with you. But to answer Wes's question, I mean, I don't know. I just feel
the question's for John, not Johnny Goodfellow.
I can't help how she makes me feel, all right? I'm as conflicted as the rest of you. I don't know, okay? I instinctively say Kyrie, but I think she's infecting me, so I think Shayna's the safer bet, so I'll go with Shayna. Plus, I don't know. If I said no and then she'd be like, what's the problem with me? And then I'd be back into a corner trying to justify why I chose, and then my limb's gone. So there. I'm being pragmatic about it. All you could just suck eggs.
I admire pragmatism.
Yeah, I admire your face. Anyway, what did we get after this opening video package here in which I was laughing at Johnny Gargano maliciously?
Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Bate.
I'm going to let you go first, seeing as how you felt like this was mostly a skippable episode. What did you think about this match here?
I mean, it was fine. It was fine. It was all right. You know, Tyler Bate does some pretty great stuff. I love the airplane spin. There was kind of a weird miscommunication, it seemed like, where Bate went up into the corner and then turned around, and it seems like they might have clonked heads together. That was kind of awkward. But yeah, I don't really have a lot to say. I know Dream won via Purple Rainmaker, so that's about all I've got.
Can I ask you something? Because I was curious about this while watching Dream versus Bate tonight. Because I thought it was a pretty good match. I mean, it seemed like it came off better in the written review I had read of like certain stuff. Like, oh, you know, this match is really good. I really didn't get that vibe because I feel like people made a really big deal out of this coming out of the tapings.
Yeah, I would say Bates. God, I don't even remember who it was against, but I would say Bates' first match or his match, I should say, because he lost it. His match, I want to say it was against Roderick Strong in the Cruiserweight tournament, was better than this.
Now let me ask. Now, what I wanted to ask you was, because I am afraid that this may be a trend, at least for us. I'm not talking about the rest of like the wrestling fan base, but like I know Velveteen Dream's last match against No Way Jose, you were kind of mad on that, but you did explicitly say that it was Jose. Like, do you feel like Velveteen Dream's starting to lose a bit of his luster with you, or did you feel like this was more on Bate, or just that these two didn't have good chemistry? Like, because this is just the second Velveteen Dream match where you're just kind of mess. So, I mean, do you feel like there's any reason for that? Do you just feel like Velveteen Dream needs something more substantive to do?
Just direction in general. Just what is he going to be doing at the next pay-per-view, and how are we going to get there?
Right. That makes sense.
That's the thing. That's the thing, though. That's why I want to kind of take it a little bit easier on this match, because I do feel like Tyler Bate losing here will be part of a storyline. I think they're going to turn him heel.
Interesting.
Well, this is his third straight loss now, dude.
Yeah, that is true.
This is a dude who won the first ever UK Championship tournament at 19 years old and has had nothing but success until He lost the UK title to Dunn. And in recent weeks, he's lost 3 straight matches, including the first match in the Cruiserweight tournament. So, and this one, it was another one. So yeah, he's on a losing streak. And I think they're going to use that as a storyline to eventually, maybe even before TakeOver New Orleans, I don't know, turn him heel. I know that Mustache Mountain is represented in the tournament. I don't know if they're going to be heel, but we might get a reunification of British Strong Style by the end of this.
That would be freaking sweet. So you thinking from the storyline perspective, you're not buying into the stuff that Bade got himself in hot water because he said no to a WWE tour? You just feel like that this is all part of a narrative device, him losing?
It definitely could be.
Yeah, I mean, WWE is very petty, so I haven't really known what to believe, but I hope you're right that it is just a narrative device. But yeah, ultimately, Dream does win with the Purple Rainmaker, and I guess it can move on.
All right, man. Well, up next, we got a promo from the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering.
Yeah, pretty much saying that there are a lot of, stars that are going to be, in this thing, but that the Authors of Pain are going to take it all for the second straight year. Authors of Pain, I'm trying to remember what the last one said, because he was speaking in a foreign tongue. And then did he say, "War is our peace"? I feel like that's what he said, but I'm not sure. He said something about, like, war is our something. So, like, we feel like war is violence, but they're at home when they're at war. Right. So yeah, it was just short, sweet, to the point. It's just more Authors of Pain stuff where it's like, we're going to destroy everybody. We're going to write the next chapter, this and that. And I thought it was good enough because, I mean, right out of the gate, they're facing TM61 next week. So holy shit, the match that I thought was going to be the finals is actually the first round match. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, I think, we got another $5 super chat from Storyteller West. Rumor I've been hearing around the office, Dream gets Ricochet at New Orleans. Oh, yes.
See, I think that's what you're waiting for, partner. That's what you're waiting for.
I'm right. I want, why couldn't this be Ricochet versus Tyler Bate to set that match up? Yes.
All right. Well, I hope that they can write a decent enough story for Dream, because I feel like his star is definitely still on the rise. And
and that's the other crazy thing about this match. This match consisted of a 20-year-old and a 22-year-old. These guys' combined ages is less than what Triple H is by himself.
And that is probably the biggest positive you can take away about this match. That the youth is still kind of running this shit.
And it's not just, they're young. It's holy shit, they're young and they're both incredible at what they do already.
Yeah. And here's what I love about the prospect, because I'm going to say prospect because it isn't set in stone yet, but the prospect of a Dream Ricochet match is, given that Ricochet is new as far as NXT goes, but we know how good he is, this is the kind of match that can elevate both guys and not just service one. Because Dream is so good in his own right. Like, I feel like he could take a loss to Ricochet, which is, I assume, what would happen here, and he wouldn't be any worse for it to me. It's just the writing has got to do the caliber of these two talents justice, and I think it can. Certainly it can. It's just a matter of will it, and that's the question that kind of hangs in the air, if this is even going to happen in the first place. So, getting back to what we were talking about, though, yeah, what did come? Oh, yeah, that's right, Authors of Pain promo, and then what came after that?
I don't actually know when it was because I didn't actually write it down in my notes, but I distinctly remember getting a segment with William Regal making Johnny Gargano basically sign his release forms from NXT that basically said, like, he needs to finish his contractually obligated matches, and then he's done.
And see, that line right there made me think he's got a few weeks left in kayfabe on his date, and that's why I agree with you that he's going to get an unsanctioned street fight in there. Like, screw it. And I know it's unsanctioned because it's not recognized, so maybe it'll even be after, like, his stuff, but maybe Gargano will even say, listen, I know I finished up my dates, but I just need one more match. And almost like that Christian, but instead of the world title, it's like, I just need one more match. I need it with Ciampa. I wanted to take over. Give me that closure. I'll never bother NXT again. I could totally see it going that route.
I don't know, man. I think really my biggest problem might just be my lack of patience, because I just want these stories to fucking move, and they're just not.
Right? It's like you're poking it with a stick. Come on. Do something.
Do something. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what it is. I'm just waiting. Like, come on, do something.
It's like a dead flea circus. Oh God, no! Come on, move, damn it! But yeah, man. I mean, just seeing Johnny so forlorn and then shaking that referee's hand, and oh my God, I could feed off this shit for days. There was something I thought was going to happen on this show that I read happened at one of the tapings. I was disappointed this wasn't the episode for that because I can't wait to see it for ourselves and see how it comes off on the network. But you know, I'm not really going to say any more about that. But yeah, I'm really excited about this angle. I think this is one of the best angles NXT has going that doesn't involve a championship, which is so fucking refreshing. And yeah, I really do hope that you're right, brother, and that it ends in an unsanctioned match at TakeOver New Orleans, because they have the I mean, if anything can stand up to Gargano Almas from TakeOver Philadelphia, it would be another Gargano match, but with Ciampa unsanctioned at TakeOver New Orleans, and I genuinely believe that. So we'll see.
Yeah. So, you know what happened next, right?
Was it Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler?
I'm actually offended right now, John. I want you to take that back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because you forgot about the most important thing on this show.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yes! Cole, baby!
Yes, I blanked. Yeah, because it was more or less a squash, but you're right. Adam Cole with both thumbs, motherfuckers! Both thumbs! Coming in against the guy that apparently was future star of the year, which makes me believe that the voting's fucking rigged, because how?
Oh, 100%. Although, you know what, though? No, it's not rigged. It's just he's a big, good-looking guy, and he's Brazilian, and you know how Brazilians stand up for their people.
That is true.
If there was like a top rising Filipino star, I would have expected that person to win the vote. Like, I don't know what it is, but there are just some countries that really stand hard for people that represent their country in other like sports and entertainment industries and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Brazil's just one of them, man. Brazil's one of them. And Cesar, it makes sense to me that he won. It wouldn't, like, if I would have seen that was a thing, that poll existed, I probably would have been able to put 2 and 2 together and predict that happening based on that.
I mean, but Ashley, I gotta let you take the floor on this since you brought the greatness to the attention. I mean, Adam Cole versus Cesar Bononi, and we know Adam Cole had a little promo, but I want you to walk us through the whole thing. I love
this. Yes, yeah. Adam Cole, before the match starts, Adam Cole talks about, guys, we need to really, I want your attention here, because we need to recognize that Cesar, you were officially voted the 2017 Future Star of the Year, the NXT Future Star of the Year. And the only place for the 2017 NXT Future Star of the Year is in the Undisputed Era. And he offers him a Shock the System shirt. And before Cesar can even make a goddamn decision, Cole beats him up and does the Bebe pose. I love you, Adam.
Adam is just, I mean,
he's a national goddamn treasure, John.
The word perfect seems so inadequate for him. Like, that facial structure, though, like, he's just, I mean, everything. I mean, he might as well have been an original Greek god, for fuck's sake. I love how when he's high-fiving Fish and O'Reilly and he turns around, and actually, no, even before he turns around, he does the whole, Ole, kind of like putting his hands together and shaking them like that, and the smile, like, dude, here's the thing. You and I have talked during Rocket League sessions about, like, how we're stoked that Vince McMahon seems stoked on Adam Cole. This guy, I'm not even saying in terms of like how he goes about his matches, but just in terms of that charisma, really is like that young Shawn Michaels, I'm going to run the place within fucking months kind of quality.
Yep.
I'm one of the guys that I hate those comparisons. Like, no, he's not the second ever this, he's the first ever this. And that's certainly true for Adam Cole. I just mean to say that if this guy is not running shit, I don't care if it's Raw with even fucking Roman Reigns, and yeah, I said it, or if it's SmackDown with AJ Styles or Nakamura, if he is not running shit as the heel champion, carrying the brand on his back, it is a cosmic failure is what that is, because this man is the fucking universe.
Dude, okay, so we just got another $5 super chat from Storyteller Wes, and man, Javaris, your role as the TWitWoW Rainmaker is really being challenged here, I gotta tell you. And Wes says that Adam Cole is that Team Rocket guy at the end of Nugget Bridge. So before I completely tear this down, because it's absolutely abominable, I'm Wyatt's right. It's hilarious because in this specific case, Adam Cole asked a guy a question if he wanted to join his team and didn't even give him time to answer. It might have been yes, and he attacked him. That's exactly what happened in that game. You get to the end of Nugget Bridge, and the Team Rocket guy says, hey, you want to join Team Rocket? I don't know about you, but when like innocent old me, like before even meeting John and being corrupted, when I was years old, I wanted to join Team Rocket when this guy prompted me, but there was no prompt. There was no yes or no. You weren't even allowed to answer the question. He just says, what? No, you're not going to join? You're going to narc on us? I'm going to beat you in a Pokemon battle. And here's why you're wrong, Wes. Because if you actually play through Nugget Bridge, the Team Rocket guy at the end is like the third strongest person on that bridge. He might be the last guy you face, but he's a fucking scrub. And that's why this take is abominable, because Adam Cole, baby, is the furthest thing from a scrub.
I love that you just revel in your role as like just the leader of the cult of Cole. Well, not the leader, because Adam Cole's the leader, but like definitely the best rhetorician, definitely the best speaker. And I got to ask you a serious question, though, because, like, I was not kidding. I know you're not either, right? When we speak about the potential of Adam Cole, are we looking at a post-WrestleMania call-up here a little bit later? And if so, how long until he's running shit? Because I give him a calendar year, maybe two.
Oh, God. Why would you put this on me?
because no, I'm putting it on you because I know you and I both really love Adam Cole and we see all the talent in him.
So I'm not going to say post-Mania as in like the post-Mania Raw. I don't think that that's going to be Cole's call-up. I think we're going to get on that show whoever loses the NXT Championship match, the Authors of Pain, and maybe, just maybe, if we're really, really lucky, the Velveteen Dream. That's what I'm hoping for. Those are
right.
And I'll also throw in the Iconic Duo out of pure hope. Just please fucking call them up for Christ's sake.
But yeah, honestly, the
realistically, I'm just gonna say year end. I'm thinking Cole is on the main roster by the end of 2018, so that his appearance in the 2019 Rumble isn't a surprise one. He'll be actually scheduled to be in it.
Interesting. You know what, dude? I'm gonna kind of take a middle road, right? Because I just knowing, and I could believe it to be true, just the same way I believed when Vince said like he regrets not signing AJ Styles 10 years ago. If he's as stoked on Adam Cole as I want him to be, because even Vince, with all of his shortcomings, has to know the brilliance and the greatness that is Adam Cole. I'm thinking post SummerSlam call up. I'm thinking it's summertime.
That's actually what I was thinking too. The only reason that I don't want to commit to that is because I don't even know how common, like how, I'm just trying to think about recent post SummerSlam Raws and SmackDowns, and I don't really feel like they do a ton of call-ups on those shows. I feel like there are more call-ups on the post Survivor Series shows than post SummerSlam.
But in a weird way, I almost feel like, I mean, I'm a mental gymnast, you know this, that could almost be to Adam Cole's benefit, because when there's not a lot of call-ups, you get the attention all on yourself. And like,
yeah, I hope you're right. I hope, honestly, the sooner the better for me. Like that's kind of where I'm at. Because to me, like, Adam Cole didn't need NXT. Adam Cole could have gone straight to the main roster like AJ did and been absolutely fine. Like, he really doesn't need NXT. NXT needs him more than the other way around. But I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, man. I'm going to be happy while we have Adam Cole under good booking, as long as we have Adam Cole under good booking.
And can I just spotlight, I know it wasn't a super chat, but I still really like the sentiment here. I'm going to spotlight Dominique Adams here, because he just said, yes, SmackDown wouldn't really need the Undisputed Era for a top heel faction, plus give something for Roman to overcome during his never-ending Universal title reign.
That's the thing, though. The reason I disagree with you is because we don't know what they're going to look like after WrestleMania, because we're probably going to get another shakeup. So by the time the Undisputed Era does get called up, if they get called up as a faction, SmackDown could really need that top heel faction. We don't know until then.
That is true. I will concede that point to you. But I do think Dominique does have a train of thought that definitely appeals to me, as far as like what seems most grounded in WWE's logic. And fuck Roman Reigns, Adam Cole better go over. And that's really why I say fuck. It's not that general, oh, fuck Roman. No, it's
the way I see it, I'm thinking we get a post Survivor Series call up. And then He'll be in the Rumble. I'm guessing. I'm gonna put my cards on the table right now. Adam Cole, Money in the Bank 2019.
Oh God, yes. Yes. I mean, dude, like,
oh shit, we just got a €3.99 super chat from PW Gregory saying, holy shit, guess what mobile has now? I guess mobile is allowing for super chats now.
hooray. Thank you so much, Paul. We greatly appreciate it. And that's freaking awesome. Yeah, man, like I only wanted to have this extended conversation because it really was like a squash. Like Cesar really doesn't come back from the distractions. Cole super kicks him, gets a shining wizard. But like I look at this dude, and really here's the benefit of Cole where he differs from Almas. And you know I love Andrade Diaz, but we're talking about fucking Adam Cole right now. Is that to me he doesn't need Fish and O'Reilly. I think they enhance whatever he's got going on, but he doesn't need them to succeed. If he wanted to be called up, or if WWE wanted to call him up as a solo act, he's got enough charisma and ability to carry that on his own. Would I love the faction to be called up and just be a terror to whoever the champion is? Absolutely. Whether it's Shinsuke or Roman or whatever, I think that'd be a great story to tell. I would prefer the story where Adam Cole gets the championship because I love to see him running shit, as I've been saying throughout this whole thing. But really, I think the sooner they get him on the main roster, to your point, the better, because I mean he just knows his character so well. And like any guy that can both have the narcissism of a character as a character trait to make his own name a thing, like Adam Cole, baby, but have that get over. Like it just, oh my God. I love this dude. I love everything about him. And I wish him nothing but the best. And that's why when I heard that, Vince may allegedly be so high on this dude, I was so happy for him because, that's exactly where he deserves to be. Where Cesar Bononi, on the other hand, he's right where he should be. And that's eating canvas courtesy of Adam Cole, baby! God, that felt good. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, that felt too good to follow up on.
All right, let's move on, bud. What came after this?
Up next, we got the Street Profits that bring my mood down considerably.
God, dude, can I just...
Has there been a worse ball being dropped in NXT in the last year or so?
No. First of all, no. Second of all, this is my first of, I guess you could say, 3 observations for the night.
Are these all negative?
Yes. Well, 2 negative, 1 more ponderous. But that's going to come later. I've given up on Angelo Dawkins.
Ponderous?
Beg pardon?
I said, am I ponderous?
I mean, your face might be. I don't freaking know. I've given up on Angelo Dawkins. Like, I just feel like he's never going to go. Like what he is as good as it's going to get.
Oh, yeah. I've been saying that for a while, but where are you on Montez?
I feel bad for him, honestly. I still feel like, honestly, if you cut the crap, and you and I have talked about this too, I'm waiting for Bianca Belair to get better, and I'm waiting for him to, reach his potential. I want to put that dude in a fucking suit. I want to put her in a dress.
Power trip. Oh, I want a heel power couple too, damn it.
Yeah. I want the fucking power couple, dude. I think if you want me to be blunt about it, which it's our fucking podcast, I can do what I want.
Goddamn right.
I feel like Montez Ford is being robbed. I feel like he is wasting valuable
I'm also going to say, though, as much as I can appreciate that take, Montez is kind of obsolete right now since we have Ricochet. What can Montez do that Ricochet can't?
And what's so funny is I heard WWE.com reported that those two apparently had Twitter beef, so I didn't know if it was going to culminate in a match. But you know what that made me think? All the more reason, though, for Montez to go heel, because, I mean, that is the saving grace, right? Ricochet's going to be the babyface. At least Montez could be the heel and, get that heat and do whatever. Because I'll be honest, I feel like Montez, if we really worked on him, what can he do that Ricochet can't do? Talk. Yes. I'm sorry. And I'm going to come at Ricochet here for a second, and people can say, oh, you're just bitter about the Lucha Underground stuff, or just you don't like him. And that's true. There is parts of his personality that I genuinely do not like. But he opens his mouth. He sounds like a goddamn child. I still can't get out of my head when he imitated the One Rock line, finally, and he did all that, and I think his voice cracked. Now, I'm no one to talk. My voice still cracks sometimes, but I'm not in a ring, with thousands of fucking people watching, right?
You don't look like Ricochet. Like, there is a certain expectation people have when they see someone that's built like that, and Ricochet isn't what sounds like the expectation.
So if Montez, because I feel like his promo stuff, I'd give him a 6, honestly, because sometimes he's really obnoxious, but I see the promise
and
there.
The thing with Montez too is that he almost has like a little bit of a higher voice too, but it's not comically high like Ricochet's.
Exactly. You know, he can, and that's the thing. And here we come back to one of the harshest truths of this business that I know we on this podcast, you know,
wait,
celebrated.
I'm just wondering if what you're going to say is directly contradicted by the existence of Roman Reigns as the guy.
You know what? Yes, in a way, but I don't think it makes it any less true for quality wrestling. If what you're looking for is the story and the characters and stuff like that, and talking wins out, right, and charisma wins out. And to me,
like on a personal standpoint, I think that you and I both have a very deep appreciation for good promo work.
Right.
I think that's also a big reason why we're so against Roman Reigns being pushed as the guy, is because not because, oh, he can't wrestle, because I think you and I both know that he can and that he's a good wrestler. But our bigger problem with him is that he can't talk. And even though he cut a good promo on Monday, he was given amazing shoot material to work with that he was probably pretty fucking passionate about and had a lot to say about. But as soon as we regress back to the norm, which is going to happen, he still struggles on the mic.
Exactly. And I look at a guy, to bring it back, like Montez Ford, and you and I have said this both in Riley conversation, and now we're saying it here in a more formal setting. You stick that dude in a suit, you put Bianca Belair by his side, and she's not just the icon, because she's doing her own shit too, and that's the beautiful thing.
I mean, I feel like if we were still in the pre-network era of NXT, Montez and Bianca as a power couple would have the upside of NXT and women's champion at the same time.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I don't think either one of them will ever reach that height.
Yeah, and to me, that's a tragedy. And that to me, and I'm so glad you said it the way you did, that to me is why on some level, no matter the glitz, no matter the glamour, no matter the star power, a part of me will always long for pre-explosion NXT. Not because it's selfish and like, oh, it's mine, I don't want to share it with anybody, but because I feel like you were able to make organic talents, and just you saw great stories from those talent souls. I mean, Big E with the 5.
It's kind of like NXT Redemption a little bit, because like I don't think anyone would say that they want NXT to go back to how it was when it was NXT Redemption. But the charming thing about NXT Redemption was there were certain characters and certain stories that were allowed to be told in NXT Redemption because it was kind of the scrap heap of the WWE that we're probably never going to get again, because of the fact that everybody that was kind of highlighted in NXT Redemption is somebody that would not get time on Raw or SmackDown or NXT or main event, even as far as storylines go nowadays.
A $4.99 super chat here from Brandon Best. Adam Cole, Black, Andrade, and Shayna are bae. Yeah, they really do have shit on lock, don't they? But yeah, man, it's just it's frustrating to me now, really bringing it full circle, because the Street Profits it's been awkward from day one. These cute little segments that they do, you know, Street Profits on the street, I think they call it. I don't know. No different here. I honestly kind of hope they're eliminated in round 1, because like
I don't think they're going to be. All I really hope is that they don't make it to the semifinals. Like, I don't think they're going to be eliminated in round 1, but I really hope they don't make the semifinals, because for them to be one of the top 4 teams in NXT would just be embarrassing to me.
It would. Like, I honestly just want Montez Ford to look at Angelo Dawkins with such disgust and his non-improving ass.
I feel like I've already told you my official prediction for the finals and the winners of the 2018 Dusty Classic, AOP versus the Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch.
And you know,
that's my official prediction.
And you know, my official prediction was TM61 versus Sabatelli and Moss.
Oh, what? I thought you picked Sanity. Okay.
No, I contemplate Sanity, but I think in the end I'm going to go with Sabatelli and Moss, because I think they're the heel, like the young heel up-and-coming team.
Seeing from what I can tell, it seems like on Twitter those guys might be going through a little bit of a breakup. I don't know.
So, well, it'll be interesting to see. Although I don't think Sanity ever did get their rematch, did they? So they could earn it for New Orleans. Nah, I'm too stubborn. I'll stick with Sabatelli and Moss. But yeah, I really hope for the best for Montez Ford. This was awkward as hell. I didn't care for it. We can move on.
Just to be clear, guys, AOP versus TM61 is a first round match. It's literally impossible for it to be the finals. So I know that's everyone's pick to make the finals, but it's actually not possible. So anyway, guys, up next, we had Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. This match was shorter than I hoped it would be, but maybe that's to protect Shayna. But her match with Ember was on the longer side. I don't know. Shayna did end up winning. She did the Kirifuda driver into the Kirifuda clutch, and Kairi tapped out, which surprised me.
Yeah, Shayna looked great here. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge fan of the catch wrestling style, and she was doing a lot of stuff here, like the leg pick, and she did a throw that I thought looked really cool. Kairi is great. I mean, just an amazing babyface that really understands like what she's about. Obviously, she makes my heart melt, but I'm suppressing it. And she's great. You know, I even like the finish with the drop down to the Kirifuda clutch. There was something I feel like I wanted to say about this match, but I'm kind of drawing a blank. I understand why Shayna went over. That's what I will say, because I think they did want her to get her win back from the Mae Young Classic, especially since that Shayna does seem to be like the heater right now, like the heel that they want to go with in the division. You know, it kind of leaves Kairi in a weird place because she did come back to square things away with Shayna after choking her out on the stage. And you have to imagine that Kairi's still a prominent part of this division, but now I feel like, you know, Shayna's still #1 contender as far as I'm concerned. I really don't know where that leaves Kairi. It's a shame that it did feel a bit quick, a bit abrupt. Would have liked a bit more of a struggle in the Kirifuda clutch, maybe a bit more tension and drama. I really didn't feel like that happened. I feel like the tap out was almost instantaneous. But honestly, the real gem here wasn't even so much the match, but again, I did enjoy Shayna's mat work. It was the post match where Shayna gets up in commentary's face and says, you know, Ember wants to call me the coward. She's the coward. I'm calling her out. She doesn't want to get in the ring with me again because she knows if she does, I'm either walking out with her title or I'm walking out with a limb.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great.
Shayna, you know, she doesn't cut amazing promos, but I love her promo style with how concise she is. And she kind of has that like talking in sound bites art mastered to a degree.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's honestly on some level what I feel like made heel Mark Henry so good was the sound bites. Like, you think it's that easy? I got a lot left in the tank. Or my personal favorite that I quote almost all the time now. Y'all haters! And I ain't sharing this with any of you. Like, when you can be intense, but also concise, to use your word, I think that's the best. Because I'm not looking to Shayna to cut soliloquies on the microphone. I'm looking her to break arms in half. I also like that she's kind of brought back the classic tap or snap. But she's also added it's tap, snap, or nap. I think it was tap, snap, or nap. And I think that's great. You know, like she's definitely figuring it out. This is really the process at work. And this shows you that the process does work if you don't try and rush it and you let it happen naturally. So I'm very happy for Shayna and the progress she's making. It seems like she's kind of carrying her load. Like with what she's being given, she's matching it, to me at least. Yep. And I do look forward to the rematch. In fact, honestly, I know Regal's a face GM, so I doubt he would do this. I would love if the rematch in my fantasy booking, if we kind of did it on Shayna's turf and it was a submission match and it would force Ember to kind of improvise and survive in this kind of Sharks element. You know, I think that'd be really cool personally. I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rematch between these two.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I think we can move on then. I'm glad that you actually remembered what all she said to the commentary team because I didn't have that in my notes. So appreciate that. But we closed the show out with another talking segment, an amazing talking segment. Andrade Cien Almas comes out with Zelina Vega and Zelina has something to say.
What did you think about this, brother? I want you to walk us through this talking segment first.
So good. So basically, Zelina, which I absolutely loved, said that Andrade managed to win 4 straight matches against Gargano, which in baseball, they call that a clean sweep. And the NXT crowd actually started chanting, clean sweep, clean sweep. She was like, yeah, that's right. That's what it was. Johnny Gargano spent all of his time trying to earn respect. And in the meantime, Andrade got money, fame, and power. And then she was referring to herself when she said, unlike other women, I don't leech off of Andrade's success. I created it. And then she talks about, or then she actually passes the mic over to Andrade and he speaks. And goddamn, I might not necessarily understand every word he says because sometimes he uses Spanish. But in this, I understood like 98% of what he said because it was in English and barely any of it was difficult to understand due to his accent. He said that Johnny kept coming after him again and again and again. And he just kept beating him. And that he was talking about, oh, Johnny wants to become Johnny Wrestling again. And he laughed at that. And then he said, he's not Johnny Wrestling now. I made him into Johnny Jobless. I love it.
I laughed so hard and it felt so good. These two are incredible. Can I just say again, not to be that superficial guy, but I always feel the need to remark on it. Andrade with that suit and that title, classy as fuck. Like, I love it. I love it. I love that this dude is just owning it with all the swagger that he deserves. Like, honestly, dude, and maybe it's because I've been watching like old Punk stuff recently, and some of that stuff involved Del Rio because of their feud when he cashed in on Punk, and then they did that whole thing. Like, I'm just watching Andrade with the suit, with the mic, and having that line, Johnny Jobless, which was, oh my God, the alliteration. Oh my God, Andrade, I love you so much. And I'm just thinking, like, this is everything that WWE hoped Del Rio would be as a world champion and as a heel. And, I would always hear Del Rio in interviews be like, oh, I'm a true heel, this and that. Like, I'm kind of a lost art. And I'm like, when you're done jerking yourself off, I'd like to direct you to Andrade Cien Almas, who is just so fucking good. And I'm sorry, I don't just keep making the parallels for a reason to trash on Alberto. I mean, although that is a great perk. But WWE put so much time and investment in him to be that guy. And I'm like, guys, you finally got it. It's not Kalisto. It's not Del Rio. And, Ray did his time, and he did it beautifully. And I'm not going to disrespect him. But if you wanted a successor to that guy who was a great investment for you, it's this guy. And every time I see him, that sentiment becomes nothing but reinforced. I loved him here. And like you, I got to give due credit to Zelina. She is so confident on the mic, and I love that. Like, honestly, it's so nice to hear. And now I may sound like an asshole here, but it's nice to hear a woman on the microphone and you don't hear the word history or sweetheart or anything like that come out of her mouth.
Oh, God, the fucking sweetheart line. I want to just stab someone in the fucking throat when I hear that shit.
I mean, I'm glad to see I'm not alone in this and that I have good company, because Zelina's not appealing to any of that. She knows her role. And again, taken out of context, that would sound horrible, but she knows her role as Andrade's manager, and she plays it to such perfection. And just that stab at Candice, I don't leech off of my man's success. I created. And oh my God, I love this woman. Like, I wish, honestly, more women were like her. One of the reasons I'm excited for Sasha to turn heel is I know she can work a mic like that. The problem is not many women can. Like, it's crazy.
Honestly, Zelina kind of had shades of NXT Sasha here to me.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I would absolutely agree with you on that. And the crazy thing is, dude, while there are women that I like in ring, not many of them can really work a mic like Zelina can. Like, honestly, in my mind, right,
go in the ring too. That's the great thing. I've seen her work, and she's so good.
Like, right now, to me, and I'm hoping I'm not going to get crucified here, but to
me, all hail El Idolo. I just saw a comment in chat, and I wanted to say thank you to Lil RJ Unlimited. Yeah, all hail El Idolo.
Oh, we got a new commenter, and already they're bringing the substance. But to me, looking at the landscape right now, the three best women talkers to me are heel Sasha, because we always have to qualify that, Becky, and Zelina. And maybe not even necessarily in that order, but those three women to me are the ones that can really work the mic the best. Ruby Riott is really starting to find her voice, and I love her for that. Yeah. And you know, Sheena,
when she cuts a really good promo and doesn't do that like over the top growling voice when she's talking, she's great.
She is. She absolutely is. And again, just one man's opinion, you know, that's where I'm coming from is Sasha, Becky, and Zelina, because Zelina, it's not just what you say, but how you say it. Yep. And when she says shit, I believe it. I believe.
You know what? I wonder if that comes a little bit from her, the acting that she was doing for the Paige documentary, because she played AJ Lee in that.
Interesting.
Yeah, she was playing AJ Lee. I know that there was like this big deal made out of a recent, not necessarily recent like this year, but like over the last few months, there was a show that they were filming for the Rock's documentary, the movie, I guess it would be on Paige's family, the Knight family. And Zelina, or at the time she was still known as Thea Trinidad, that's her real name, was playing AJ Lee, and she cut like the AJ Lee promo after that one WrestleMania where Paige interrupted her and won the title off of her. So like, I wonder if not only like the fact that she had the credibility to play AJ Lee and actually be an actress in the first place, like holy shit, but then also that role, like the AJ Lee role, because AJ was always pretty goddamn great on the microphone as well. So maybe that kind of seeped into Zelina as well. Like there's so much positive that I can say about her. Like she was a fucking actress and she was already a wrestler before then. She's so good. She looks like a weird, like Latina Trish Stratus, which I pointed out before. She's so good, and she's not even wrestling yet. But I really want her versus Candice at Takeover New Orleans, because the line about how she created the success and she doesn't leech off of her man's success, that totally was a pot shot at Candice. I want it.
Yeah, nothing but upside, nothing but freaking upside. And when Andrade said that he's NXT champ, like. Yes, El Idolo now, El Idolo then, El Idolo
Dude,
forever.
I feel like Andrade almost works a match when he cuts a promo with how physical he is in his promos. It's great.
Dude.
Like, he owns that ring. That's the thing. Like, a lot of the time with promos, most people, so I can't even necessarily hate on it, but most people stand in one spot and cut their promo facing the camera. And occasionally they'll like turn around to look at the fans to be like, each and every one of you. And that's another like stereotypical line that you always hear from, especially from heels. But freaking Andrade, man, you put a mic in his hand and give him bullet points. And he is so animated and physical with the way that he portrays and conveys his promos. It is awesome. Like when he said, because I am, like he dropped down to a knee. He was so into it. I loved it.
These two are perfect for each other. Oh. They really are. Like, it honestly.
Forget each other. These two are perfect for me.
Yeah, I love it. It really is kind of, and I'm going to say it, it really is for me, like that nerdy inner wrestling fan. Plus, I think Johnny Goodfellow is kind of infecting me there too, where I hope it is like a Johnny Taya thing where their chemistry outside is just as good inside. Like I'm hoping that these two are that close, because like my God, these two work so well off each other. And honestly, it's not that I feel like they couldn't succeed without each other, but the thing is, I don't want to imagine a world where that is the case, at least not yet, and not for a long time. Like we have something really good here. And I'm not looking to rush it for anybody's sake. Like, this is one time where I know I've always been a fan of the slow burn. And yeah, like, I definitely want to hold on to this act for as long as we conceivably can, because my God, there's so much they can do together. So much they can do together. And I loved it. Loved every bit of it.
Yeah.
So after that, and this is where we get to my ponderous thought, if I may, we get Aleister Black. He comes out, which was badass because it's fucking Aleister Black, and just the thought of him versus Andrade at TakeOver New Orleans. Oh, I gotta calm down the erection.
Dude, it's gonna totally happen.
Because here's the thing,
I will say, like, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I will say I've never really been a big fan of really beating a horse, like beating a dead horse, as far as just like doing the same match over and over and over again. But like, if I don't know how they would meander their way around it, but if they wanted to do Black versus Dane at Takeover New Orleans and just fuck it, do a fifth Andrade Gargano match, and then Gargano wins the title, Andrade gets called up, and we get Gargano Ciampa for the title, I'm not going to complain.
No, because you already know the magic between these two. I said it as our soundbite last week. These guys never have the same match twice. Yeah. Like another time, what's one more? Really, what's one more? But what I love about the Black Almas dynamic is that Aleister Black beat Andrade for his TakeOver debut, but he didn't beat the new Andrade. And see, that's what I'm talking about when I say that I buy the shit that Zelina sells, because she speaks with such conviction. And then I've got to credit the NXT booking, because you can speak with all the bluster and the confidence in the world. If the booking doesn't follow suit, I'm not going to believe you. Bray Wyatt. So, you know, it's very important that those two things work in tandem. And thankfully they have for Andrade, which is why he's such a believable and fucking great champion. I really got to put some stank on that F there, because I'm really feeling myself right now. So, yeah, Aleister as the face-to-face. I'm thinking, oh my God, Aleister Black versus new Andrade for the NXT. Yes, please, Splooge Fest. And then Killian Dane comes out. And do you want to, honestly, like, it was... I
love his theme song, by the way. I don't know if I've ever praised his theme song on here, but I fucking love it.
His theme song's great. And here's the thing. I like the dude, right? I don't have a problem with the performer. This is not me, like, coming out guns blazing or whatever. But when I saw Killian Dane, because he's been in this position before, I think it was against Roderick Strong, where, like, he was, like, the wall to Roderick Strong getting an NXT championship match. And all I could think was, honestly, and it was a weird thought process, but, like, wow, NXT could really benefit from having an Ishii type character, but I just don't think Killian Dane's the guy. And this is where I actually am going to plug another YouTuber. I don't normally like to do this, you know, on our show, but Real Neat Puro does amazing New Japan Pro Wrestling videos, and he does great analysis. And he did one on Ishii that I really liked, and he more or less said, like, Ishii, and it was also kind of depressing being an Ishii mark, he's that gatekeeper. He's the guy, you want to get to Okada, you go through me. And I'm like, you know, it would be great if NXT had that character, and it seems like Dane spiritually is kind of their choice.
Do you want to know who I think could be a great candidate for that spot in the future?
Who's that?
Otis fucking Dozovic.
I would like to believe it. I would like to believe it, because I do like how that sounds. But for me, and maybe this is just me being whatever, and I'd be curious to know what our chat thinks, because to me, again, I'm not even saying NXT knows who Ishii is. You better fucking know who he is. But, like, it seems like they've picked Dane for that spot. Because, again, Roderick Strong had to beat Dane for a shot, and now Black's going to have to. But Dane, meanwhile, has never gotten a formal NXT championship match, whereas I'm sure Ishii's competed for the world title, but, of course, he's lost. And I'm like, wow, you could really benefit from an Ishii character. But I look at Dane, and I don't know, like, the music's great. But I don't know. I just feel a disconnect with him. And maybe that's just me. I mean, what did you think about this stare down? Because to me, honestly, what I thought was it's a waste of time. Like, just give me Black versus Andrade. Let's not go through these extra steps. What did you think about it?
I agree. I want Black versus Andrade, and I don't really know what the hell else on Aleister Black needs to do in order to prove himself worthy of that NXT title shot. I really don't think he should have to beat Dane in order to get there. But if they do want to put him against Dane, at least get it done and out of the way on NXT TV so we can have Black and Andrade at TakeOver New Orleans.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't understand. And I guess for me, too, it's like Sanity's just in a weird place for me. And we've been talking about this for a while, so this is more of an older beat from our podcast. But, like, it's weird that Eric Young isn't that gatekeeper as, like, the head. Like, why isn't he going after the NXT championship?
That would make a lot more sense, but he's not big and scary.
And that's just it. Like, Dane is big and scary, but, like, I'm met on him. Meanwhile, and clearly I'm colored by bias, and I will readily admit that. But, like, Ishii comes out, I'm genuinely intimidated. This is a guy that ate a fucking Destino, right? Like, I'm intimidated by the dude. I really don't know what Dane has done recently where, like, ooh, I should be shaking in my boots. Like, what big wins has he gotten? Because say what you want about Ishii, but at least he's beaten Okada before. And he's beaten Naito before. Like, he's beaten those guys. What big names has Killian Dane really beaten to earn that gatekeeper distinction? And, like, that's why I'm saying you could really use and Ishii on your roster, that guy that you'll always keep warm, never actually turn up to hot, but always keep warm to have that believability for the next guy. And WWE, rather than just like, and I'm just being truthful here, rather than any kind of booking, rather than any kind of credibility or those things that we talk about and unpack here on this podcast, they're like, oh, he's big enough and scary enough, he'll do. And it's so superficial. And I don't know. I had the thought, I feel like this podcast is always where I can let my brain vomit out. I don't know what you guys think about it, but yeah.
Oh, apparently NXT tweeted out that Black versus Dane is going to happen on next week's show. So yeah, thank you, Dragon Rider 951, for saying that. I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's actually great news. We're moving faster than I was expecting to for this story.
Yeah. I'm glad that they're getting it out of the way early and just we can focus on what actually matters, and that's Black versus Almas. And you know, that to me is what's happening. Like, I'm not going to accept anything else. I'm not going to accept freaking Killian Dane getting a win and facing Almas at a takeover, and neither's NXT. Like, it's very clearly Aleister Black, especially because he was the first one to interrupt Andrade when they were leaving and having that stare down before Dane interrupted. I feel like that was kind of their subtle way of saying, yeah, Dane's the afterthought here. Keep the focus on Black and Almas where it should be.
You know what we can do, though? We can do Dane versus Roddy, can't we? Have we gotten that match yet? Because I feel like Roddy called out Killian Dane, didn't he?
Well, no, remember, I mean, we've gotten that match before, not necessarily in a formal program. That would be new. But remember, I just got done saying where I feel like NXT has kind of bestowed that Ishii gatekeeper moniker on Killian Dane because Roderick Strong had to beat Dane to become number one contender when he was feuding with Bobby Roode.
That's right. I mean, that's true, but I mean, from the four-way, I mean, didn't God, there was that weird situation.
Well, no, Lars Sullivan called out Killian Dane, and then
Lars. It was Lars. Thank you, not Roddy. Lars versus Dane at the pay-per-view is what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I'm missing Lars Sullivan, by the way. I really want to know what's kind of going on with him, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out on that. And then obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. You know, Black and Dane, they have an exchange. Black misses Black Mass, and then Dane gets like the running cross body. So he stands tall, and that's another reason too. Like, he stood tall here. No way Black is going to have a response for that next week. And let's just get on the road to take over New Orleans because I am salivating at the prospect of Aleister Black versus New Andrade for the NXT Championship. Like, all of my fucking yes.
That's right, because Lars called out Killian Dane, and then the next week, didn't Roddy call out Lars with the exact same promo, just copied Lars' promo almost word for word?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Yes.
Wait, did we get Lars versus Roddy, or is that match still yet to happen too?
Lars versus Roddy happened, and that's why Roddy called out Lars, because Lars beat him. In fact, I think that was to get his place in the Fatal 4-Way to begin with, was he beat Strong.
See, and even knowing that, I would still, I would be down for Dane versus Sullivan or the 3-Way Dane, Sullivan, Strong. I'd be down for either one of those.
Right.
So, all right, guys. I mean, I guess that's all we have for the actual show. If you want to move on, John, we can.
Yes, high spots and low shots.
Oh, and by the way, I apologize again for cutting you off, but I had a realization while you were talking about the Black Dane stuff that blew my mind.
Okay.
Via Trinidad, Rosita, Zelina Vega, whatever you want to call her, and Andrade, right?
Yeah.
You know how old they are?
Well, Andrade, I know, is 28, right?
Yeah. He's 28. Zelina's 27.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Just and she's been wrestling since 2010, so she's got 8 years under her belt now. And Andrade has been wrestling since 2003. So that boy has got it's 14 and a half basically years under his belt.
Jesus. Which if he's 20.
What is it with Mexican wrestling where they start at 13, 14 years old? That's when Ray started too.
It's the rite of passage to become a man, apparently. You're 13 now. It's time to have your first match. Wait, what?
Yeah, dude. That's the thing, though, is he's been going since 2003. He's 28 years old. She's been going since 2010. She's 27. I mean, good Lord. They're fucking prodigies. They're so good.
Yeah. But to bring it back to our segment, high spots and low shots. And while I'm feeling this good at the greatness of Zelina Vega and Andrade, I will say my low shot, and I think this counts because he did technically appear on the show in footage, Johnny Gargano. Because you're jobless. It's God, you're such a failure, Johnny. You're such a failure. And I'm so happy that Tommaso Ciampa dumped you, because that's what history is always going to remember. You didn't dump Tommaso. Tommaso dumped you. And I'm laughing at you, and I'll always laugh at you, and there's really not a damn thing you can do about it because, I mean, look at you. You're pathetic. So, yeah, Johnny is my low shot. Now, Mr. Sighing over there, who's your low shot?
But I am refraining from saying your face, so I'm just going to say Tyler Bate because of the losing and losing again tonight to Velveteen Dream.
That's very mature of you. It's very big of you, and I definitely agree with your choice. I think I had the better one, but really, who's keeping score? My high spot, I will give it. Let's see, who do I want to give it to? You know what? I will give it to the NXT champion, Andrade Cien Almas, because him and Zelina are fucking untouchable right now. And
yes, they are.
I love them for it. And like I said, El Idolo, may he reign forever. And may Zelina reign forever as, you know, just by his side in this era of dominance, or as I like to call it on Twitter, the age of Almas. So forever may it reign. He is my high spot, and I'll even tag Zelina on there too, because honestly, I consider them just an act together, a singular.
Yeah, I'm glad you included her in it because her promo was absolute fire too.
So yeah, Andrade and Zelina, who might as well be joined at the hip, they're my high spot. Now, we already know with Adam Cole on the show, that's part of your process, so I'll let you celebrate Cole and then get to your actual high spot.
Oh, absolutely. Adam Cole is my high spot all day, every day, as long as he was, featured in any capacity on the show. But because of that default setting, I have to give an honorary sort of, consolation high spot. And that is going to go to Shayna Baszler this week because Shayna, she's continuing her reign of dominance. She's literally lost only one match in her NXT career. I know she lost to Kyrie in the finals, but she avenged that loss tonight. And her only other loss was to Ember Moon. And technically the match that they then had on NXT, Shayna won that by DQ. So Shayna has got to be still, even after losing to Ember on pay-per-view, first in line for a shot at the women's championship in NXT.
That all seemed very logical and well thought out. I completely agree. And yeah, I think she's a great choice. So with that said, is there anything else you want to say about NXT tonight?
Let's close her out, baby.
All right, guys. This has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my coordinate commentary action. Guys, be sure to comment, subscribe, and like the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Guys, you already know by now, all the social media and everything we're affiliated with is in the description box. I implore you to check it out. The two things I always like to plug, the Teespring. We got a Tranquilo shirt, which seems appropriate given that we were just graced by the excellence of El Idolo, our champion. And so if you're feeling Tranquilo, whether it's on the NXT side with Andrade or the New Japan side with Naito, you can support the philosophy of Tranquilo always. And I highly recommend you get that shirt. We have other offerings as well. The Ematery shirt, the real face of the women's revolution. And, she's doing big things right now, so go and support her if you want. We have, if you just support being an absolute dick, which, I woke up today and I'm like, I'm feeling especially asshole-ish today. We have a whole line of Scum Squad merch. I implore you guys to check it out. We even have a Scum Squad mug. You know what that's for? Drinking the tears of failures. Fill my cup up, Johnny. Fill it the fuck up. And so, yeah, we have just amazing Scum Squad merch there.
Holy shit, how have we not capitalized on that yet?
I know, right? We have Braun Strowman, I'm not finished with you, which is back in style, given that he said that to Elias on Monday night. So if you're not finished with anything in your life, if you want to make any challenge or conquest in your life tremble with fear, or even just a stranger, because fuck them for breathing your air, am I right? You could just wear the shirt, shoot them a dirty look, and they know that they can come get these hands, and they know that you're not finished with them. So, yeah, we have a whole litany of merchandise on the Teespring store. Another thing I want to plug, guys, the Patreon. Now, as we said, the way it's looking now, there's going to be no progress coverage in March. That's okay, though. Gives us time to reset, recharge, gives you guys time to, get anything in order. Those that may have had to pull out, those that, may want to, discontinue their donations. It's, it's whatever. But if you do want progress to continue, I do implore you guys, donate. And the best way to donate, as we always say, is the Discord. $3 a month, and you get the most intimate access to both Ashton and myself. Get to talk to us about whatever you want. I mean, Game of Thrones, I know we've talked about in the past, music, video games, of course, wrestling. There's even a personal chat. People have been like, oh, I had this kind of day, and, whatever. It's a really loving community. I love our fans. I love that you guys love what we do. It means the world to us. And I feel like that Discord is really just the embodiment of everything we've worked toward and the kind of community that we've fostered. So if you want to be a part of it, $3 a month. Plus, if you're not into that sappy shit like feelings, ew, it's okay. It's okay. I can appeal to selfish nature because I get that. $3 a month at a rate of 10 months. You know what that equals? That equals $30. You know what you can do with that $30? You can cash that in and get a live reaction to a 3-hour show. Yeah, content control is offered on our Patreon. I know, I've lived it, and Cliff and Jackie have taken advantage of it, as well as others. So if you want your turn, if you're like, oh man, I know a steaming pile of trash I would love for Ashton and John to consume, I'm going to donate.
Or an actually really good quality show that we haven't seen yet because
I was going to get to that side of the coin, thank you.
God damn it. Well, you're taking so long. We have a super chat. Let me read that at least. $2 super chat from Cliff and Mall. Can we start selling actual tiers to go with the mug? I was trying to wait for an opening, man, but you just don't provide one. Shit.
It's the outro, man. I go and I get my shit in. But yes, I would love if we could start shipping out tiers. I mean, I'm trying to figure a way to provide them that doesn't violate labor laws, regulations. And yeah, on the other side of the coin, if you're like, no, I actually like John and Ashton, I want to give them a good wrestling match, which, I mean, what's wrong with you? Am I right? But yeah, you can do that as well. The power is yours. So yeah, guys, that's the Patreon. As far as the rest of this week goes, we don't have anything, do we? I feel like we're good, I want to say. I don't know. Maybe that security is ill-founded.
No, you're right. Our next commentary is Lucha Rewatch next week, and then NXT next week, and then Thursday or Friday or whenever the hell we decide to do it, Fastlane preview predictions already.
All right. Well, then the last thing I'm going to plug then is Q&A. Q&A, of course, last Thursday of every month, and for the month of March, that falls on the 29th. So yes, you have the 29th. You've still got a shit ton of time to get your questions in. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. Those are the best mediums to submit your Q&A questions. Get them in if you haven't already. I know my pinned tweet's looking a little thin right now. Probably going to regret saying that because everybody's going to file in and, do whatever. But I want it. Give me all the questions you got. I can handle it. And yeah, just come at us with any questions you want. Everybody's permitted up to 4 questions per Q&A. You can divvy them up however you want. If you think that you can ask both of us all 4 of your questions, great. You get 2 perspectives at the price of 1 question. But if you feel like a question is more specialized, like, oh, I'm putting together a fantasy team. Ashton's a smart guy. I'm going to ask him. That's great. Or like,
that's actually a really good idea. You guys should ask me more fantasy football questions. I don't think I've ever gotten one of those, but I'm really good at it.
And then, with me, if it's like, man, I could really use help with my Philosophy 101 assignment, I'm going to ask John because I really don't lose because I love philosophy. And even if I give you bad advice, you fail, which is hilarious to me. So either way, I win. So yeah, you can always ask me that. Like, it's just, anything that's on your mind, guys, you can ask. So get your Q&A questions in. They're always a fun time. They're always a deep seat. And they're always your chance for your voice to be heard. So with that said, we will see you next Wednesday for Lucha Rewatch, episode 20, the final episode, where we're going to be covering episodes 39 and 40, the final 2 parts of Ultima Lucha Trace. It's going to be absolutely nuts. And until then, guys, tune in. Peace out.